President-elect Garrett Walker. Do I like him? No. Do I believe in him? That's beside the point. Any politician that gets 70 million votes has tapped into something larger than himself, larger than even me, as much as I hate to admit it. Look at that winning smile, those trusting eyes. I latched onto him early on and made myself vital. After 22 years in Congress, I can smell which way the wind is blowing. Oh, Jim Matthews, his right honorable vice president, former governor of Pennsylvania. He did his duty in delivering the Keystone State, bless his heart, and now they're about to put him out to pasture. But he looks happy enough, doesn't he? For some, it's simply the size of a chair. Linda Vasquez, Walker's chief of staff. I got her hired. She's a woman, check, and a Latina, check, but more important than that, she's as tough as a $2 steak. Check, check, check. When it comes to the White House, you not only need the keys in your back pocket, you need the gatekeeper. As for me, I'm just the lowly House Majority Whip. I keep things moving in a Congress choked by pettiness and lassitude. My job is to clear the pipes and keep the sludge moving. But I won't have to be a plumber much longer. I've done my time. I've backed the right man. Give him time.
Welcome, ladies and gents. Welcome. I am Rob Wilson. I'm a comic book creator, artist, illustrator, video editor, all that stuff. I want to welcome you to Strictly Art Live. We are streaming double time on YouTube, live on the RWA Art channel and also on the Madness Comic Network live. We're doing it live double time. Also, we're on Rumble and we're on Twitch and Kick. Unfortunately, Instagram missed out on this one. Well, it's Friday. It's a couple days after Christmas. I hope everyone had a great Christmas. And we're here to have some fun, cover some subjects. Only a couple things, but it's going ad nauseum. Definitely gonna talk about certain subjects right here, as is kind of chilly weather. It's not as cold as it has been the last couple weeks prior in the DMV. In your area, hopefully it's not too bad, nothing too extreme. But we're here to cover some American animation for a change, because we know that anime has been kicking butt and all that. But we got some stuff to definitely highlight and talk about in reference to what American animation is doing, specifically Marvel's What If Season 3 and James Gunn's Creature Commandos Season 1, Episode 5. So I got some good things to talk about as far as both of those. And I'm going to go ahead and showcase some of my comic book in which I'm working on. So that's what to expect for today's show. I'm gonna do some reflection as well. Share with you guys what worked for me this year as a comic book artist, as an artist in general, and as far as doing that, like these live streams, because it ain't easy. It ain't easy to get to 50. Constantly having new creative ideas to share with all of you guys, and remixing some old ideas too that might be beneficial to another group of upcoming aspiring artists. So I'm always happy to share that kind of thing. Shout out to Pops from the Madness Comic Network for having me on and giving me this opportunity to expand my reach, in addition to all the other areas that I am on. So here I'm working on the next page of VKP. I had a couple more panels to do with this. The secondary stuff. I'm treating this like when you go on a stage in a video game, like an action video game. They kind of show you some of the scenery of the areas you'll be exploring. Maybe even see some of the creatures that you may encounter as well. So that's kind of like what I'm doing. I'm setting the premise. We got morning Pops, morning, and morning Levi Skeen. Hopefully, I trust y'all had a great Christmas. There have been a number of shows from Christmas Eve leading into Christmas Day and into days after Christmas, brought to you by the Madness Comic Network. So it's an amazing thing. There's always content, there's stuff to learn. When I catch some of those shows, there's things I learn, which is always a plus for me. So I'm always thankful for that. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Hopefully the music's not too loud. Trying to think if this is supposed to be New Year's music, but it just sounds like I'm in a club. Let's try to mix it up. All right. Marvel's What If. So last time covered Marvel's What If episode 1. We talked about Hulk Godzilla, which it was interesting spin on things with combined with Avenger mechs. Obviously, your usual Avengers were out of commission, so you still had Falcon, Monica Rambeau. I think what's his name? Um, Mr. Ten Rings. You had him in the mix as well. Nick Foreign, Voltron did that kind of thing. It's pretty interesting. But this episode, where it's featured Agatha Harkness, I'm not the biggest fan, but she is in the 1940s in Hollywood, or maybe 30s or so, under Stark Pictures, because Howard Stark is, of course, he's a film producer and director. That's how he uses the money to fund his projects, and it's interesting. Pop said, "We appreciate having you here. Fun to watch." Thank you, thank you. So what's interesting is that Agatha Harkness is portraying a actress in which she's trying to siphon off the power from one of the Celestials, Tiamat to be exact, which is the one that was bundled up in Earth, that tried to emerge in the Eternals movie. If you saw it, spoiler alert. I mean, the movie's been out for forever. I've been around the country and back since that movie's been out. But yeah, she tries to do that, and in doing so, the Watcher states that she tries to perform a ritual in order to siphon off the energy of the Celestial, but she's not strong enough. She needs more power, more energy. The stage dancers for her group and the music is not enough as she tries to go for her rebirth. And then we find out, and forgive me, I totally forgot about this guy, his character and all, from the Eternals. But what's his name? Not Kong, but damn, I'm terrible with this. His name. But long story short, her and Stark have a conversation, and basically they need more star power. So Jarvis is the assistant to the director, which is pretty funny. And the additional casting they end up getting is one of the Eternals, the one that basically turned actor. Let's see, Kingo, that's his name. I wanted to say Kong, but Kingo. So they got Kingo. Yeah, it's kind of like I guess Indian / Pakistan / background, kind of like, and he's a big actor as well. So they join forces to make this big spectacle, and the spectacle ends up being a showdown of both eternal power and Agatha Harkness, her witch power, and ends up being more than Kinga bargained for. She convinces him to siphon off power, and this, of course, is brought to the attention of Anshem, and he's like, just automatic, you will die. And he's on his way towards Earth, which is always a fun little, piece to see. So she gets Kingu's power, and they perform the ritual to drain Tiamat. Agatha Harkness, she actually, how can I say this? She gets the power of Tiamat, and then by then Anshem shows up, and she does a pentagram ritual to siphon off Anshem's powers after they duke it out, fist fight. Anshem's no witch, so those properties are foreign to him and leave him at a disadvantage in a pentagram trap. So from there, Agatha gets Anshem's power too, and she becomes all powerful, like Jafar to the second power, or 200th power at that point. And she gets a pep talk from Kingo, which in my case, like, these two characters are not my biggest concern. I'm more of a Iron Man, Tony Stark type characters, those that are really mainstream when it comes to Marvel. Never heard of Agatha Harkness until the MCU. Never heard of Kingo until the MCU. But long story short, he gives her a pep talk that explains that in relations to her lust for power, led to the same thing that he ended up dealing with, where the world has made you quite small. And in doing so, this huge ambition is seized to obtain more power to prove to the world that you are bigger than what the world thinks. And in doing so, Kinga was able to appeal to her humanity, what little bit she had, and well, it worked because she's an actress, and she understood that, just going off in the cosmos, like flying off like Dark Phoenix, and feeling all these new sensations, which they're not really new to Agatha. She's been around for a long time as a witch. So they end up having the biggest movie, box office movie opening ever, which seems like it was at the Chinese theater, in the words of the Mandarin, which I still think Ben Kingsley is still the best one, best performance by far. And they have a pretty good ending, but word gets out in a post-credit scene that basically the other Celestials found out what that ashram is, defeated, destroyed. So now more Celestials are on the way in a spit-swapping make-out match, a bare-knuckle chainsaw match against John Cena. I'm kidding, sorry. But yeah, that's how it ended. I thought, for how those characters mean very little to me, I thought that episode was very captivating and very telling too, because Disney and Marvel, they were willing to tap into kind of like the ritual type of stuff behind Hollywood, which is not a foreign thing if you watch enough movies. I mean, they even make fun of themselves at this point with some of the stuff, kind of like Eyes Wide Shutish and all that. So I thought that was really interesting, and not being afraid to show a little bit of that. We get it, Agatha Harkness, girl power, she's doing her thing. Kingu kind of plays side wheel supporting character, which is kind of like what they alluded to in the beginning, because it was about Agatha getting her powers and her rebirth and awakening and all that. So I thought that episode was much better than what I expected. Me going into it, I thought it was entertaining. I was able to laugh. It wasn't overwhelmingly over the top with message or whatnot. But like I said, it was a pretty interesting episode for that matter. Levi Skeen said it did seem like John Byrne like using her a lot in his Fantastic Four West Coast Avengers runs. Okay. Yeah, Agatha. Yeah, because she was kind of like she was like the babysitter to, what's his name? Is it Jonathan Richards? Please don't shoot me. I think Jonathan Richards or Reed Richards' kid, Reed and Sue's Nathan Richards. Hopefully I'm not confusing him with Nathan Summers. My history on that is kind of rusty. But yeah, like I said, I was very surprised at the episode. It was quite interesting. John's fondness for Scarlet Witch always meant Agatha was going to show up at least for one issue. Okay. And you know what? I think that's good when you have a lot of choices of characters, and maybe some have been put on the back burner by some writers. That's an opportunity when a new writer comes in or takes over an existing project to say, hey, this character's been chilling for a hot minute. Let's see how a scenario with this character added as a variable to the situation pans out, Levi Skeen said she was Marvel babysitter for sure. Yeah, that's what I heard. Just like well, I guess similarly to Madam Web, somewhat babysitting Spider-Man, uh, guiding him in the right direction of his path that's been foretold by her. So yeah, like I said, I thought that episode 2, was rather interesting, and we actually got a bonus today because Marvel is trying to like speed up releasing episodes to catch up with Creature Commandos. So I found out that episode 3 of Marvel season three's What If was out as well, and I got a chance to check that out. So guess what? We're gonna cover that as well. That was pretty unique themed, and it was interesting. So they deal with the situation of convergence, and I like how with the what ifs that they're doing now, they put out the backstory, so you pretty much just you get the premise of it before they get started with the actual story. It was a convergence. If you're familiar with the convergence, multiverses converge. If superheroes don't defeat the other universe in time, both universes are destroyed. So somehow in the convergence, uh, what's her name? Damn, terrible with names. The assistant girl to um, Jane Foster, a little cute nerdy girl with the nice body. She runs into Howard the Duck because he comes here to assist for a battle with the convergence, and they fall in love. They get married. Howard the Duck and Marcy, I think that's her name. Howard the Duck and Marcy, human and a duck, they bump uglies and make an egg. So the whole episode ends up being centered around their child. First, they're offered a all expenses paid trip to the Grandmaster's world for lavish vacation. They agree to do so, and they bring their egg along with them. Come to find out, the Grandmaster's trying to eat the egg and cook it on the menu. That's like shades of like Hannibal Lecter, shades of The Menu. If you ever seen that dark comedy, which I highly recommend, is very good. Um, so that becomes a chase. Um, what's his name? Yondu shows up because, of course, he's always getting paid to steal something, and the egg just happened to be, on the list. So he shows up, steals the egg from the Grandmaster's clutches, and then Howard the Duck and Marcy, they continue to go chase for their egg, which is their offspring. Nick Fury briefs them, indicating that their egg child may be special because it was born during the time of the convergence. So the stars align. The 333rd chance of their child having cosmic powers was up for grabs. So Phil Coulson made an appearance in this episode, which was pretty cool. And we got the chase was on. So they tried to take over the pursuit. Shield tried to take over the pursuit of the child demon. The parents not equipped to handle the, what do they call it? Over a mega level potential danger. They call it some code word, like a mega level mutant, that kind of thing. So okay, that happens, and then next thing you know, Caecilius, Dormammu's cult leader, they end up stealing the egg, and they're in like some kind of dark mansion that Howard the Duck and Marcy show up to. And she literally says, this is how you know they're having fun, making fun of themselves in Hollywood. Marcy literally says, what kind of eyes wide shut? Now, for those of you that know about that movie and the quite a bit of controversy behind that movie, It was quite appropriate and right on time. I didn't expect it because normally Marvel doesn't make fun of themselves like that. The episode was a lot more fast paced, quirky. Um, I took episode two more serious than this one, but this one was like a chase. Everybody was after that egg, kind of like that golden goose. The egg symbolically meant a lot to everybody. Jotunheim, Loki was in his frost giant form, and he was trying to sell like a frosty snow ski resort at Jotunheim. I believe that's the place where the frost giants live. Refresh my memory if needed. I have no problem being corrected. I am out of practice. But from there, you had Caecilius. We had even the Black Order. They showed up, of course. Ebony Maw's talking about rejoice, for we have arrived. And I love his intro from the MCU. The way he prostrates himself to Thanos when he introduces the Black Order to new people. It's so classic. So he shows up, and then they find out he was there for something else, but they hear about a cosmic egg, which Howard the Duck and Darcy kind of spilled the beans about that because they were about the kid, and they inform Thanos. so, so you got Dormammu's cult, you got the Frost Giants after it, you got now the Black Order after it, you have Shield after the egg, and then at one point you let's see, Levi Skinny saying, "Hi, my son just watched Eyes Wide Shut and was talking about on Christmas. Crazy how." Wow. Curious. You can tell me offline. Hopefully your son's over 18 to watch that movie. It's an interesting piece of cinema, especially considering Stanley Kubrick's excellent history and choice of movies that he had produced, from The Shining to even script writing AI, artificial intelligence, which Steven Spielberg took over after his death. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. So yeah, during all this hot pursuit, oh yeah, the Grandmaster is after him, and then at one point, freaking Thanos teleports down. He's like, "Where's the stones? You summoned me. Are the stones here?" and freaking Levi said 28. All right, yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's an interesting movie. Like I said, I hope one day we do get all the footage of it. It's still missing like 20 minutes of it. But yeah, Thanos was excited because he thought the stones were there, and he was like, "It's for an egg." And it's like, really? And then once Thanos was told that it was like cosmic, then that kind of piqued his interest. So then you got all these people after, Howard the Duck and Marcy's egg. And then from there, they managed to elude him because they're going at each other's throats, all these different factions. And long story short, the egg comes to and starts defending its parents through the power of music. There may be another faction, I can't remember, because it's so fast paced. There's a lot going on. Another faction that was after the egg as well, but the egg ended up saving the day, and Shield deemed the parents to be the best protectors of such a cosmic level entity, which ended up being like a half human, half duck. Once the egg was cracked, and I thought that was a very interesting, crazy thing. Popping over here to drop the love. Hey Levi, thanks. I appreciate it. I'll go ahead and send you guys a link momentarily. I'll cover this last little piece, and then yeah, we could chop it up. All right. So next, we're moving on to We've covered 2 episodes of Marvel's What If, episode 2 and 3 of season 3, and then Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos. I felt like it was slightly different compared to the last 4 episodes. The hot pursuit continues on as Rick Flag Sr. is trying to inform the princess that the Creature Commandos are trying to kill him. He teams up with Frankenstein. Frankenstein was promised by Rick Flag Sr. to have his bride be convinced that those two can be together, and in doing so, they try to prove that a doctor that believes Cersei's vision of the princess from the European country will eventually kill all the Justice League and bring the world to an end, trying to prove her credibility. So they follow her at her college and say, and watch her teach, which she was teaching and asking about Themyscira. And some of the content the teacher was teaching was deemed by Frankenstein as unprofessional. And I will say that David Harbour is doing a pretty good job of, portraying a sophisticated monster. His dialogue is complex until he rages out. So he's burdened with the power of emotions, while his undead corpse bears the vocabulary of a grand philosopher. This is an interesting combination. I don't think that's been emphasized enough. I will give credit when credit is due. That is for sure. Let's see. Levi Skin said, "Hell Pops." Yes, sir. Hell to the Pops. And then, they continue to go after the Creature Commandos under the leadership now of the Bride of Frankenstein. They make contact with the princess's security team, and the security team leader tries to inquire he has more suspicion as to what threat it is this time. And he makes a very interesting quote. He says, our country was cut off from the world, isolated for years, and had no problems. Now we talk to the Americans, and there's threat after threat after threat. So that was fair enough catchy. So it eventually becomes apparent that the Creature Commandos are there to kill the princess, and they do their best to try to defend even their Iron Man knights, that literally, fly in the air, fly in the sky. They get gunned down and outmanned and beat down. Between Phosphorus and the Bride, quick work, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Rick Flag and Frankenstein, they track the teacher to their home and find out that it's really Clayface doing a stand-in, and they get caught and get stuck in a brutal fight against Clayface. And Rick Flag, having less hand-to-hand combat and resourceful prep time skills as Batman, he gets his butt whooped, pretty bad, because you can't really shoot Clayface, and that's strikes and weaponry, artillery. Those are Rick Flag Sr.'s go-tos, as far as I know, so far from what I've seen in the series. Frankenstein had a little bit better of a chance, where he was able to get a hold of some current, electrical current, that is, and really throw down, shock the heck out of Two-Face. Oh, I'm sorry, not Two-Face, Clayface. So yeah, that was a pretty interesting episode. I like it. I liked it more than some of the previous ones. I think because it wasn't just a flashback or origin episode. Because like I said, the first 4 episodes was every Creature Commandos origin, except for Rick Flag's. So they covered Bride and Frankenstein all in one episode. They covered, in fact, they actually flashed back to a couple of scenes of Frankenstein. Again, for some reason. But they did the, I think, Phosphorus. I think they did his background. I can't remember now. They did the Weasels. No, GI Robot, who's disassembled currently right now. He would have made a great asset. But yeah, this episode was a little bit different. That was actually one of the complaints, or kind of like my displeasure that I expressed last episode. And this episode was changed for the better. So, as far as American animation, yes, you're going to have some limerick that refers to certain messages or whatnot. But I did not come to the conclusion that it was completely bombarded with all of that. So that made it a little more enjoyable for me to watch. And like I said, Marvel with the What If, so far they kind of didn't take themselves seriously with episodes 2 and 3. Episode 1 was a little more serious, so you can tell the difference in the pacing. So yeah, I recommend checking them out. Creature Commandos is not unbearable. It's kind of like watching The Boys. Expect blood, guts, sex, and gore, that kind of thing. So yeah, not bad. And Marvel's What If is, I'm curious who the final boss is. It probably will be the Celestials, if they hold them off for like the next, hold them off for like the next 6 episodes. Or 7, or 5 episodes. But we'll see. I can't call it. I'm here for the ride. I think it was pretty good research material as well. So yeah. We got some good American comic stuff for a change, and it's not like I'm desensitized to messages that may occur in them. I see them, and I'll share it with people, but I'm not gonna keep harping on them over and over, because it's not unbearable, it's not outrageous, it's not appalling, and it's not besmirching at this point. But yeah, that's it. So here's what I'm gonna do. We still got plenty of time to go. This is the halftime show coming up, so I'm gonna recommend, please, by all means, go ahead and grab your favorite beverage or refill your favorite beverage, and we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break. I'll be right back, and then I'll go ahead and send the links to folks if they want to pop on. So you better get ready.
Welcome to the future.
Transferring to autopilot mode.
A place where good guys finish last.
I'll make them wish they'd never been born.
A quick draw is the best defense.
Nothing personal, but I'm here to kill you.
And your wits are all you can count on. A future where one treasure is coveted above all else.
Tell me the coordinates of the galactic ley line.
Legend speaks of the galactic ley line, offering the ultimate power of the universe to those who seek its glory.
The doors have opened.
Utilizing the latest technology, a living starship has been built with the power to find the galactic ley line.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All systems green.
By twist of fate, it has fallen into the hands of an outlaw. An outlaw named Gene Starwind.
Well, let's blow some hot kisses to my devoted fans.
His luck is about to change.
Goodbye, G.
Together with his crew of bounty hunters, he'll take to the stars.
Accelerate and fly down their throats.
Outlaw Star. Weekdays at 5:30. Time to roll the dice. Only Toonami.
Yeah. So we are back. But yeah. It's been an interesting year in 2024. Deal with new challenges as always. There's always challenges when it comes to every year. Trying to make things work, see what doesn't work, adjust what doesn't work, and keep doing what does. So this year, I had made it a point. I actually declared where I wanted to have a comic ready this year, and did that happen? No. I had some employment training to go do. That took priority, and it was fine because during that time I got a chance to go visit local Comic Cons in the Midwest and meet new people, network with new people, actually meet in person. Some folks that I had draw streamed with before. And I got a chance to meet Odin Dasco in person. He's a pretty cool human being, pretty awesome. I got to see the authors of Shrine and I'm terrible with names. It's a couple. They just got married. Let me see if I have their card. Yeah, they have a couple books out, Shrine and a few others. That deals with like dystopian future stuff. It's interesting. So that came out great, and actually, Strictly Art Live started while I was away. So it's been pretty interesting with this year. And we got a guest in the back. Bring him on. Sir Levi.
How's it going, my man?
All right, and yourself?
You were
Good.
discussing Agatha. Man, I'm a huge John Byrne fan, so she would show up in some stories right when you knew they needed a babysitter.
Hey, I've heard of plot devices, but I guess she's a plot character.
That was it. You're like, okay, who can we put Nate with? And for the Fantastic Four, and it was Thomas and the other one for Scarlet Witch and Vision, the two twins.
Oh yeah,
they ended up being in Young Avengers, weren't they? The Wiccan character?
Wiccan and Speed. I think
so. Yeah, Thomas and
yeah.
Anyway, you didn't want them to be bad parents, I guess. You know, give them kids and they got to have a babysitter. So,
right.
And
so, could she be considered the witch, Mrs.
Yes.
Doubtfire?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So it was interesting because I thought she did a pretty good job. They did a pretty good job in her introduction in WandaVision because. I actually liked that show. I liked the presentation, how they kind of like went through the years of nostalgia while there was still something a little wrong, going on. And we got to see a never before seen point of origin of WandaVision, or what happened to her, how she got as powerful as she did, which is cool. And then the latest one where Agatha Harkness got her own show, by that point, I was kind of beat down by Marvel, so I was like, But this right here, if they would have had this kind of thing, what they had on the What If episode of her and teamed up with Kingu, I mean, I would have been interested because it was on a really big scale.
Yeah, my burnout with Marvel started a while back too. I'm kind of if my younger self would be really mad at me, like, are you kidding me, bro?
Yeah.
Like all those crappy Captain America, the Hulk on TV,
Right.
You sat
Oh
through
man.
all that waiting for this, and then you've seen the beginning of it, the dawn of it, and now you're not watching the What If series, you're not watching the Wanda and Vision series, you're not watching, it's kind of like, no, I'm not. They kind of lost me.
Yeah. Exactly.
I imagine
What was it?
I was gonna say,
Oh,
I
go
just
ahead.
imagine someday I will eventually watch all these things, and I will just binge watch it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even season 1 of What If, like first episode, I was like, I'm out. So I skipped every episode until I saw a title that said, "What if Ultron won?" And I was like, it's like the second and last episode. I was like, let me see this. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what it should have been the
right?
whole time.
Yeah,
You know?
I love that series. What in the comic book series, the
hmm
What If,
Yeah, yeah, yep. I used to pick it up at the Chinese convenience store across from the arcade. I'd take a break from playing Marvel superheroes and yeah, read a good comic and have some cookies and re-up on sugar.
right?
Yeah. So how's everything going?
I'm doing good here. I just doing a little penciling.
Good.
So
Okay.
yeah, penciling and listening. So
Nice. What are your pencils
I don't know
subject
if
of pencils
I
today?
probably can't. It's just a group shot. Just doing a kind of a.
Nice.
I wanted to do a double page spread of all my characters, kind of doing the whole rushing at you thing. So
Okay.
yeah, so I don't know if it's going to be for promotional use or a wraparound cover, or maybe I'll turn it into an action scene inside the book. I don't know. So
Mhm. Yeah, that's having the characters in action doing various things, I think really contributes to getting to know the characters and making them more
yes,
relatable. Um, like I've been seeing a couple of crossovers of what was it like Isom with Common America, and I was like, I had no idea that was in the works. Pretty
right?
cool, you know. Granted, I wouldn't spend pages on um, my comic having half the book with them at a tea shop or something,
Right.
just talking. But you know, a couple panels
Yeah.
I think is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So no, I was just saying it's been like I said, it's been an interesting year. You try to set some goals and then you get thrown off the main road and somehow you find your way back
Right.
on it.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. Hopefully we got a new golden era coming towards us.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I have plans to release my comic this year, and even aside from the training and stuff that I had, I spent about 2 years since 2022 like trying to improve my style and get it more towards American
Right.
comic style. And that unfortunately that does take away from the time of which you may intend to do, because you got to improve, you got to practice, and
Yeah.
don't want my book half of it look one way and then the other half of it looks another. I'm sure that's a problem all
Right.
within itself.
Yeah. I'm leaning into that myself. So the way my book is set up with a frontline story and then a bunch of flashbacks. I've
Okay.
in the first book, I did all the flashbacks, but in the next 3 books, we're having guest artists come in for the flashbacks. We wanted it to
Nice.
have the feel of like this universe has been like Marvel universe has been around for 50 years, right? And as the editorial would come along and just instead of hiring new talent to show you that backstory, we're just going to give you the old backstory. So I wanted it, to
Nice.
have a different feel, a different look, and everything to it. So
Yeah, I remember Hush doing that, the Jim Lee one, where most of the book was his artwork, but the flashbacks of Bruce and the Doctor it was done by a different artist, and you can see it had a different feel to it. So I definitely think that works very well, intentionally. You know what I mean? Like as you were saying.
I got grounded away from my comic books as a kid, and one of the things I did is to get the most bang for your buck on comic books. I found the official handbook of the Marvel Universe was the best book to stash somewhere without your dad knowing where you put it. Right? Because it had all that reading, all that adventure,
Right.
So Marvel, the handbook had a huge influence on me, and in this book in particular, because I was used to reading a massive story and then having multiple panels done by multiple different artists, giving you that flashback scene. So,
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he never found that stash.
I imagine back then, if you had like a hardcover like Marvel Encyclopedia or something like that, as a kid, your parents actually probably wouldn't know what they were looking at. They might have thought it was a
They
textbook
totally
from
could've.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there's been points where, us as kids, we have something and our parents are looking through it and they're like, what is this?
Yep.
But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I kind of look at cinema and stuff and see that there are different ways that you can set up a comic book like cinema while still keeping the pacing of a comic book. And hey, I'm just learning, like the writing stuff, totally new territory for me. But I'm understanding that, like every book I buy from others, it's meant as a learning lesson.
Right.
So I can kind of determine, hey, I like this. I think I'll, remember how that worked and see if it could work for mine. And hey, I didn't like that too much, so let me make sure I exclude it.
Yeah.
But I will say it's been a hell of a journey, man. A hell of a journey.
Making comic books is a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm learning.
Some of it, you just don't like doing, or you're just not good at, or whatever. We hired an editor. Even though JD, my writer, he's an amazing writer and stuff like that. He's got all the degrees for writing and stuff. Still need a second pair of eyeballs. Still need.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That does make sense.
Because you never want your comic book out on the market. You printed it all, and you misspelled a word, and you just didn't catch it.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I'm pretty. I am thorough about after I come up with a script or putting the stuff up. Put it in context. I immediately send it to Grammarly.
Right.
I'm like, does this make sense? And then still, even in Grammarly, I got to correct some
stuff. Yeah, because you're like, that's not quite what I wanted, but because I'm with me, I'm a horrible typist. I'm a horrible. English was not my cup of tea, and I'm loving freaking AI nowadays. I am. I hate that as an artist, but
yeah.
Every time that AI pops up and says you did this wrong, I go, oh, thank you.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because when it started hitting the market, I was looking at one of my previous shows before I started doing the Strictly Art Live, and I went on a full-on AI bash fest, and I'm like, just like what you were saying, like your younger self, I'm like, man, me and myself a year ago probably wouldn't get along because of this.
I can,
And
I can see.
the funny
No,
part
you
is,
go ahead.
oh, go ahead. No, I was just saying the funny part is a lot of people are afraid of AI stealing their artwork. Well, now I look at a lot of AI artwork and look at, okay, this is a good piece, but proportions wrong. That can be changed. That can be changed. And this, drop a finger.
Yeah. Lose that extra pinky.
Yep.
What I was going to say is I'm starting to see uses for it that I just haven't thought through. And one of them was that spending package that Congress just passed, where they're like, here it's 1,500 pages at one point in time, and then the one that actually passed was only 120 pages. It's like, we know Congress never reads that shit, but I can. Right. Oh shit! I never thought of that. Like, force those congressmen to send that fucker through AI for a brief description.
Summarize. Yep.
Yeah. Are you signed up on Twitter, or do you have the blue check mark or anything?
I had it before. I'm considering whether or not it's worth it to get it again, because when I had it, I was like the sexiest man alive according to bots.
Yeah.
They were just freaking swarming me.
I am the bot king over on Truth Social. I did not delete any of them just to see where it went. It was like, oh my goodness, dude! Like, 2/3 of your followers are nothing but bots on Truth.
Yeah.
Same way on. But the stuff I'm loving for the AI on Twitter is they're doing the profile summaries now. It's where if you're looking for that bot and you go, okay, well, who's this person? Are they a bot or not? They're starting to show a profile summary button now, where you just have to highlight their name. Profile summary will pop up. You click it, and that AI will give you a brief description of their entire profile. Yeah. See.
Okay. Oh, from all their
posts. You no longer have to go, okay, is this guy cool? Is this guy not cool? Is it a bot? You don't have to search it anymore. That AI will do it for you. Yes.
Oh, that's
like,
awesome.
Okay, I fucking dig that shit. That saves me a lot, because I refriend everybody. Like, okay, this friend guy friended me, I'll go friend them back. Who are they? What do they do? Why do they want to talk to me? Hey, I'll do that for you now.
That's good, because I used to wait people out. Like, if someone follows, I'll give them like a week, give them a two weeks, because they might get found out and the account gets banned. But so you need the blue check mark to get that?
I just signed up for the blue check mark like a month or two ago, so I'm guessing yes.
Okay, yeah. That's definitely a time saver, and with all the other perks that it has, I'd say it's worth it. At one point, I was doing Patreon, and I just realized that Patreon wasn't lucrative enough for me to keep up with it. But I see that they have like the old subscription-based model on X that's available. But I'll stick with the original plan. Get to the books.
Yep. So, what is the name of your book, man?
It's called VKP. It's I guess acronym for Virgin Kill Paradox. And what I'm trying to do with like each title that I create, it ties into the main character, or characters in some form or fashion, and it ties into a item or an event that they go through. So with this case, I have like genetically enhanced killer assassin, but she has to discover herself. All she knows is killing, and then once she gets a taste of freedom and understanding some of that, then she has a bit of a change of heart, but that doesn't come without consequences. So with the way I'm formatting my book, I'm doing what's the word? I'm doing like a prologue where you get to see the world before the big change, and then you see the new big change, and it's like dystopian future.
I love your trees, man. Your animals look great too.
Thanks. Yeah, I actually referenced every single animal because I wanted to get their form right. If I didn't, I could just look at it and be like, all right, that's not
You're
right.
like, it's supposed to be a squirrel or it's supposed to be this. You're like, I better just get the damn picture.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, how does a deer legs look again?
Yeah.
You know,
which way does that back leg bend? Yeah.
Right. Oh man. Yep. So anatomy is so important, and based on my first book, my first trial run, it's just kind of like just kind of like a Duke 'em out, beat down, over the top type of fight comic.
Right.
20 pages, and it's just meant to kind of get feedback from people to see what they think. And it was a lot more anime based, whereas this one will be a little more American, well, a lot more comic book based, American comic book based.
Gotcha.
So but yeah, it's an introduction to my universe of characters. A lot of my stuff I intend to have kind of like fighting game based, so the characters will have signature moves or attacks and stuff like that. But yeah, it's I have a little bit of like message of both test of faith, dependency on technology, consequences of freedom, consequences of submitting freedom, stuff like that.
You kind of do it in like not hitting somebody over the head with it, but subtly mentioning these things or having just a general tone. Yeah.
Right. And I'll definitely be adding some hidden gems that'll allude to other stories too. I guess they call them Easter eggs, and yeah, those will be fun.
Yeah, we're
but
those little Easter egg things. One of the things I would like to do, but I'm not sure that we're actually going to do it, is because of these flashback scenes and having different artists pop in. They'd always have the editor's note down in the bottom. They would say, "Hey, this adventure took place in Marvel Team Up 26. Go to your store right now and find it."
Nice.
You know, and I was like,
"Yeah, I like."
And
those.
I would chase those down as a kid. I would be like, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Editor. Now I'm gonna, go enjoy this book." And I kind of sort of want to do that in my book, but I know it's a joke, and I don't know how people would take it because there is no other issue, But I don't know. Right. So it would be one of those little hidden things in there, just a joke,
Somebody will come to appreciate it. That's for sure.
I would hate to be that kid though that ran to the local comic book store to find issue 26 of Galaxy Memorial Park, and the guy's just like, "There is no effing Galaxy Memorial Park 26."
A great idea with that is if I'm trying to think how that would work. Something with like a QR code.
Yes.
If you could set up like a QR code to it and maybe have like a virtual image. So I remember somebody did that where like you scan a QR code and it takes you to a comic that's like 3D and it's got like all this hidden stuff.
I have a friend, Matt Nelson, did that with his book, Catbeard the Pirate. So the funny thing is we had these weekend draws over at my house on Saturday nights, and Matt was over and he was telling us this story about him and his buddy hanging out, and Matt has cats, so he grabbed his cat and he put it up underneath his chin and he goes, "Look at me, I'm Catbeard," right? And all of a sudden his friend's like, "Hey, that's a good idea." So he comes over, and of course us being artists, we're all like, "That is a good idea, you should do it." he draws Hatbeard the pirate, and the pirate kicked a cat and then got punished by a witch to have that cat live underneath as his beard for the rest of his life. So he has a real life cat as his beard. And
oh my God!
So he's like, now I got to put him on adventures. He does. If you want to see this series, just look up Catbeard the Pirate. It used to be on like Blogspot. It had every week he put out a new page. Every page was kind of sort of a single page joke story with an overall story to it. And the funny thing is so the rest of us are sitting around listening to him develop this universe, and we start demanding our pirates. Like, so all the pirates in this book are named after all of us in the artist group. So Pete the Pirate it was Pete in the group, and this is a long story here. I'm like, I go, well, I want to be oh shoot, I'm blanking on my name now. Oh, Scurvy Skeen, right? I said that's my pirate name, Scurvy Skeen. And he goes, that's a great name. And so the first adventure, and of course he kills me. He doesn't kill me in the adventure, but he says the overall arcing story is the search for Scurvy Skeen's treasure. So I'm by the time you see me, I'm a skeleton in my cave surrounded by my hoard of gold. You know, I'm a Scottish pirate, Scurvy Skeen. So coming full circle, going back to the QR code, what he did is he kept talking about searching for Scurvy Skeen's map for the pirate treasure, and he dropped the QR code, and the only way for you to see Scurvy Skeen's treasure map was to use the QR code. So that would take you to a brand new page on the internet, and it would show you just the Scurvy Skeen treasure map. So that it is a good idea, and it does work.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, man, that's wild. Catbeard.
Yes.
Catbeard the Pirate. Let me see. They have this. Because I see I'm getting the summary. Oh, okay. That's at catbeardthepirate.com.
You guys on what side now?
Yeah.
He made a little following out of this thing. He got it to where he got enough weekly followers for the strip. He crowdfunded like the first 3 books of that thing. Yeah.
Really?
It's funny because when I had him autograph it to me, I said, personalize it. And I said, I don't want it to Levi. I want it to be to the real Scurvy Skeen. Yeah.
Nice. Is this it right here?
That's it. Yes, that's it. That's Matt Nelson. He's a friend of mine right here in Spokane.
Wow.
And I think that's Pete right there. I think that's Pete. Yeah.
Oh, him?
Yeah. And I forget who the next guy is. Yeah, but he's got it's a great little series. It's perfect for kids. You know, you would have no problem going to hand this to any age kid. So
yeah, absolutely. On the 4th day of Christmas, my captain gave to me 4 shredded socks, 3 fish heads, 2 chewed mice, and a hairball. His beard puked at sea. Oh man, it's got a sock in it. Oh.
He's got skits in there. Like you can imagine how hard it would be to take a shower if you have a cat beard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That thing will be clawing and all.
Or even like I want to see. There's one joke in there where he's sleeping, and his cat beard brings him a dead mouse, even though it's it's still attached to him. Like all of a sudden he's like, "Here's a gift. It's a dead mouse."
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, there he
the
is.
pirate.
And the cat's
Yes.
got an eye patch too. Oh man, that is an original.
And he's
like,
been doing
wow.
that. Oh my goodness. I want to say since 20. I'm gonna guess here. 2014, 2013, 2014. Like at
Wow.
least he's got to be closing in on 10 years. Hey, we got that plushie. We got that
Wow.
plushie. Yeah, I got
Oh,
one of
right.
those. Yep.
Nice. Yeah, 10 years. That's plenty enough time to really develop the lore
Yeah.
behind the character. And it looked like he had 6 issues.
Yeah, he's just one page at a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Catbeard
Good
book
way to do
1,
it.
book 2. Yeah, so book 1 and book 2 are both what does that say on there? The key hauls and kitty litter. Yeah. Yep.
Lord. Man, that's an excellent blend too. So he's got black hair, but the cat is got the red red beard, huh? It's something about that. It's such a simple idea that can go so far. It's kind of like this is like his Mickey Mouse, basically.
Yeah. And he just did one page a week.
Wow. That's a good standard to set by, because it's good pace and you're getting everything done.
And he tries to keep it, at least he tries to do one joke per page type of deal, just so it's worth you coming back every week. So
nice. I can dig it.
Yeah.
You got original artwork.
He's a big dinosaur and Transformers fan. Yeah.
Nice. So that's some good stuff right there.
Matt's a good guy.
That's all right. Let's see about the comment. Catbeard the Pirate is a comic that was inspired by my late cat, Tiger. She was extremely affectionate, and she used to like to crawl up on my chest to sleep. On such an occasion, while watching Mystery Science Theater, keeps on inspiring. or maybe riff tracks with a friend. I squeezed her against my face and said, "Look, a kitty beard." He responded with Catbeard the Pirate, and inspiration struck like a bolt of lightning. I've never looked back, and I hope you enjoy reading the Catbeard as much as I have enjoyed writing and drawing it.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
I'm not sure if it was that cat or the he lost one in a house fire. Yeah, so it was pretty rough. He was living with his parents, and the place caught fire. He lost a bunch of stuff, including his cat, I think.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Wait a minute, am I? Oh, okay. Dang, I got more than one window open of the stream. I'm screwing up here. All right. So yeah, Catbeard. I actually put the link in the chat. I don't know how far it reached. Let's see. It went to YouTube, and Twitch. Okay, so let me put it in Kick and Rumble. And yeah, man. Like, I can talk about ad nauseum. I was almost thinking about with this live stream doing going through every single thumbnail I made for the show. I'm like, nah. Because I mean, at 30 seconds a piece, that's still quite a bit. And to be honest, I couldn't remember.
Is that 20? You have 50 shows, right? So that'd be 25 minutes of thumbnails. Is that my math right?
Yeah, that's about around. That's about around that. The only thumbnail show I didn't have a thumbnail for was for the first one, and I thought about going back to doing it. I was like, Nah, that was more like a trial run, see if everything works, bells and whistles, and all that. It did. You know, um, like I said, I'm just such a big fan of like watching stuff or reading certain things and getting inspired and kind of branching out those ideas. I get some people they'll put it in a course, and say, hey, these are my best ideas. You can buy it for such
Right.
amount of money. That's not a
Right.
bad idea, you know. So I figured I'd just work with what I got and something consistent. Because if you ever seen any of my previous
Yeah.
shows, these would be all over the place.
I've always enjoyed your shows, man.
Thanks, I appreciate it. You know. So yeah, I mean, if you got anything you want to plug or share,
Um,
um,
you can go to
besides that,
GalaxyMemorialPark.com, and just go give that a look, I suppose. If anybody wants to do that. Other than that, at Levi Skiing on Twitter.
okay.
That's pretty much it.
Will
I'm
do.
just here to hang out with you, man.
All right. Hey, I'm not used to it, so it's pretty cool. A lot of times I'm just so used to just ratting off a bunch of ideas, and it's like, all right,
Right.
that's it.
Well, so with,
But
with my strokes and
yeah.
stuff, I don't get out of the house, but maybe like once a week. So, yeah,
Oh,
well,
shucks.
yeah,
Man.
so it's nice to have fellow creators, and it's nice that the internet has gotten to this point where like now I can find cool people online, and the cool thing is this year is that like I'm finally getting into like talking to these people and like you, and it's not just in the chat, So
Right,
it's been
right.
just kind of
Yeah.
steps and steps and steps of, I don't know, some really cool things happening for me, anyways. Meeting new people and stuff. It's
Yeah.
cool to get back into the swing of things.
I agree. I mean, when you find the right combination of people with shared interests, that's what this whole live stream thing is really
Right.
fun that way. And yeah, like I said, the madness thing, I was already sold from the get go. I just always had stuff going
Right.
on, and I was like, all right, we really gotta push this because I really got to get on the ball with this because I know you talked to me about it, and I don't want to seem like a goofball. Just like, yeah, sure,
Right.
man, sure.
Yeah. Let me think about it. So you're not that interested in it.
Yeah, no, I ain't bougie
Yeah.
like that. you know, but yeah, that's one of the keys. I'm guessing it's probably tradition that every artist tries to do it or does at least one version of Chrome.
Yes.
So I'm starting
So-
to he's starting to materialize in my mind as far as how to draw them, what setting to draw them in.
And I know Pops is still listening to us. Hey, Pops, you ever show Microm? And I think I know why. It's not colored. So I think that's my next step. I need to color Crom or have somebody color Crom. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
look.
just keep that in mind. Color it, and he's bound to show.
Okay. All right. And I'll coloring other people's work because you already got the inks down, right?
Yeah, you want to color mine?
Yeah, sure.
Really?
It'll be digital, but
Oh yeah.
okay. Yeah, I give it a shot. And mess with some different color schemes, and even if you got like maybe some guidelines that you might want to go by.
Oh yeah, no, all you.
Oh
Whatever-
shucks.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, man. I love collaborations. I love putting peanut butter and chocolate together and just seeing what fucking happens. So
Right. Yeah, same here. I definitely I find joy in drawing or coloring or designing other people's characters. Even when I do graphic design with people or clients, I'll tell them, hey, it's my job to pull your idea out of your mind and bring it into this world. You
Right.
know. So yeah,
When
color will be fun.
it comes to like my characters for Galaxy Memorial Park, it's
Hmm.
when we hand off the flashback stories to people, you know, we tell them like, hey, we fully expect you to put your own twist on it, do your own little tweaks on it, add whatever you want to make yourself happy artistically, because we, you know, once again, we figured this story took place 20 years ago. You were the artist on that particular issue, and you were drawing the character that particular way.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So they're like, well, you know, does this is this piping right here on the suit, or is it just a line? And you're like, whatever you want it to be.
Nice.
You know, here's the description from the writer that I had. Here's a basic layout that I did, and you're free to do whatever you want.
Okay. Yeah, I think that that wiggle room for artistic freedom is it, again, it allows more possibilities that way.
Yeah.
I get it. Some people may have like a vision, they want it as their vision, but yeah, that wiggle room makes a hell of a difference.
Yep. You know, it's you go back to like we're working on this stuff, and we're not Marvel Comics, you know. So a lot of times, I mean, it's hard enough to pay each other.
Yeah.
So if there's no pay involved, or there's a little bit of pay involved, you at least want that
Hmm.
expression to come out to where you're like, I'm happy working with this person because they allow me to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Artistic freedom.
Yeah. Last thing you want it to be right now is a job.
Yeah. Yeah, the job aspect makes it kind of difficult.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of learned about myself as well. It's like if I'm doing this like all day, I might not enjoy it as much. But when I do have those hours or that day to work on it, I find, you know, kind of like the most joy. It's like, hey, I got to get done what I can with the time that I have.
Yeah.
So I
Yep.
kind of go by the philosophy that Jordan Peterson had explained when it came to when a student at college says they study, and he questions, well, how many hours do you study, and how many of those hours are actually studying, as opposed to cooking, doing laundry, looking at social media, going out partying at frat house or whatnot.
Right.
Because all those add up. So he explained when a student has actually less time, their study time is more productive. I'm like, hey, that makes sense.
You're trying to, yeah, I get that. It's that artistic trying to make the deadline thing.
Yeah.
You know, the closer you get to the deadline, the more artistic you seem to be sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Have you ever done a 24-hour challenge?
Drawing for 24 hours?
Yes. So have you heard of the 24-hour comic book day challenge? You ever done that? Never heard of it?
I saw some guy said he drew for 24 hours on YouTube. But I didn't know it was a challenge. No.
Yeah, it got started. We were putting them on here in town in the early 2000s. I think we did our 5th year in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just Scott McCloud, I think, came up with the idea. You know, Scott McCloud he's got that book.
Sounds familiar.
Understanding Comics by Scott McCloud.
Okay.
He's got 2 really big important books.
Nice.
I can't remember them, but the 24-hour challenge was supposed to teach artists how to make a deadline.
Okay.
So the challenge is you come in, you completely blank, which is where artistic freedom comes in. You don't come in with a preconceived story.
Mm-hmm.
on hour 1, you start your comic book. You need to pencil, ink, and letter your book.
Okay.
So, but it's all freeform basically because it's all open. You don't come in with a story. So
wow.
There's little shortcuts to it that you could do.
Yeah, like putting in the curve for each panel format.
Yep. One of them, another cheat that you can do is instead of doing 11 by 17, you do 8.5 by 11. So you just draw smaller.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So we did. Let's see, we did it 5 years. I got 4 books. I don't have 5 because in year 2 I was inking a book, and I just did, I did the challenge just inking. I did 3 pages in a night.
Okay.
We were the store wasn't putting it on. We were the promoters, and we would go to that particular store and just ask him every year, "Hey, can we do this challenge here?" And he would say, "Yeah." So,
wow.
I did. My story was about me putting on the challenge. Yeah. So my first story had me struggling to figure out what my first story was.
Oh, now that's pretty relatable.
Yeah. So
about the deadline.
I went through the genres. So on one page, I get mad. I'm like, no, I'll scrap this, and I start drawing a Western comic book.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get mad at myself, and I'm like, no, this is stupid. And then I start drawing a crime noir comic book. You see how I just kind of jumped. It was easy to fill. Like, so you just do 2 pages, 2 pages, 2 pages.
Okay.
My buddy Harrison, he cheated the first year.
Uh-oh.
He did, because you're supposed to do 24 pages in 24 hours. He did 23 because his was a time travel story.
Oh my gosh.
And he put it through a time loop. So his first page was his last page.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, that's fucking brilliant, dude.
But that is, I will say that is creative, even though
it is.
Oh my gosh. I would have never thought of that. But you see, those are the kind of things right there where, you can find ways to turn the story into, add a plot device to it.
Yes.
To kind of like make that deadline. And it kind of reminds me of, what is it? The Marvel method. Draw the panels first, and then add the dialogue.
Pretty much.
Because like for a while, that still took time for me to wrap my head around it. Because it's like, well, what's the script? But you figure if you got the characters, the setting, and who they're fighting, I mean, that's mostly what you need.
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say we did have a writer-artist team that did it every year.
Okay.
They would sit down for the first 2 hours and just bang it out.
Wow.
Every single scene. And then Manny would start drawing it, and then I think he would hand it over to Manny, and I can't remember the writer's name. I think he was lettering the book. So we were kind of fast and loose with the rules because there's no prize at the end of it. It's a personal challenge.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Even though we had stuff there. Like, we got sponsors. I got a t-shirt shop that sponsors one year. Like, if you finish the challenge, you got a shirt. So, but otherwise, we weren't like, hey, it needs to be, one person, one story. We had guys that would show up with 3 or 4 pages already done.
Dang.
Yeah. So, fast and loose with the rules.
That works. Yeah, I've never really done many challenges. I think those make me nervous more than anything else. But obviously they would help speed up my skill level because it's like, hey, all the zooming in, fine tuning, all that crazy stuff. You know, half of it you just throw it out the window.
Yeah. Oh.
Because you just got to get it done.
Yep. Basically, you give an indication and then you just go in with your microns and start inking. You know?
Yeah, I got a bunch of art supplies I've been sitting on, man. I got to get back into them. I even got a light table too.
Nice.
Yep. So, what you got planned for the weekend?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Family's gone home. We ain't got nothing. Oh, I got to return a laptop today.
Uh-oh. Hopefully it's not a laptop from hell.
No, my laptop broke, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I went and bought another one. And by the time I got it home, it was the wrong laptop.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and it was, and I bought it on the north side, so it was like at least an hour and a half round trip.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be going out for that. That'd be an easy reason to go out and eat too.
Yes. Oh my goodness. You have some good food for Christmas?
Yeah. Let me think. For Christmas, well, I guess I just brought my lunch, and I've been doing like the Vietnamese pho soup with bulgogi marinated beef.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. I've been killing that since it's been so cold. Thanksgiving we all brought in food for like the group, and it was a lot of food then, but not so much for Christmas. So I had to go back. I had to go get off work Christmas Eve, go to sleep, and then go back to work that Christmas Day or Christmas Eve night into Christmas Day, and then.
Right.
But I think some people they had dropped off food as well. But it was like some tater tot, cheddar, steak, and bacon casserole.
Yes.
With eggs or something. I was like, all right, I'm gonna take this with me. It was pretty good.
We'll get it to go plate. I've never had a job like that.
Huh?
I've never had a job like that where you have a potluck.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I've always been jealous of it. Even as a kid, my mom worked for 911, right? So
yeah.
They had those potlucks inside the 911 center. So she'd be like, hey, show up, come in, grab a plate.
Mm-hmm.
Because we got way too much food.
Right. Now, when I used to work in the restaurant, those holidays were awesome because, I mean, there was always food there. We have like Thanksgiving special meals or whatnot. Cheesecake Factory was the worst though, because I mean, like, if you worked a double, you automatically got a ticket for a free meal. So you could have your free meal and then have another meal on top of that, or switch it for dessert. And it's just way too much food. Just way too much.
Yeah. Well, I did have a job that would feed us, but it wasn't. He had nothing like that,
Yeah.
Occasionally, we would do. So I was screen printing T-shirts.
Oh, nice.
And you would come across some restaurants. And occasionally a restaurant would go, hey, I'll trade you some food for the bill. And occasionally my boss would do it. So, but you talk about too much food. We did one for, those eating contests with their gigantic hamburgers.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
man.
We did the T-shirts for that contest. and he was going to start doing it at his place. And he talked my boss into like, how about I just pay you in a couple of these hamburgers?
Dang.
My boss was like, okay, sure. There's 5 of us.
Yeah.
5 of those burgers showed up.
Golly.
And they were the obnoxious, like 6 patties, custom made bread. I mean, the thing was the size of a freaking hubcap.
Oh.
You know, and it was.
Now I'm starting to get hungry.
Yeah, like 9 inches thick.
Mm-hmm.
He just came in. He tells you, yeah, it's got a whole tomato, it's got a whole onion, it's got 6 eggs, it's got 6 patties, it's got 12 different kinds of cheeses, it's got lettuce, it's got mayo. It had everything.
Ah, dang.
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Those burgers sound like Fuddruckers.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do we got here?
Glenn Fleming.
Glenn Fleming.
How's it going, Glenn? Glenn does.
I wonder, any relation to Ian Fleming?
No.
Half
company.
Huh?
Company.
Oh.
Glenn's from England. He does. Oh shoot, Glenn! I'm sorry, I'm spacing on your book right now. It's a cute little character that lives on an asteroid.
Nice.
Oh,
Asteroid Bill.
My stroke brain's kicking in. Glenn, what's the name of your book? It's on Fund My Comic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's got. It reminds me of Nickelodeon as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Is this coming up? This thing is behind.
Hatch. That's it. Thank you, Glenn. Hatch looks like it's a wonderful book.
Okay. Nice.
He does all of this stuff traditionally, you know, the penciling, inking, and I want to say there's some watercolors on it.
Mm-hmm.
It is a beautiful looking book.
Okay.
It's got that same vibe as like we were talking earlier with the Catbeard the Pirate.
Yeah.
Where you would hand this book to any kid at any age, and they would enjoy it. You know, so
immediate captivation.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try and get this right, Glenn. Hatch lives on an asteroid, and he no problem, Glenn. And so it's like everything is it's kind of like bright and new to him. He doesn't know why he's there, or we don't know why he's there, but everything like a discovery to him, right? Like he comes out of his hatch, that he lives inside this meteorite, and goes on this little adventure for the day type of deal. Wow. I hope I'm not screwing this up, Glenn.
So many books, so little time.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about books like that. There's so many, and variety. And I think like the people you draw with, you have a somewhat closer connection to their book as it develops, you know, and then seeing it launch. He lives on an asteroid. Life bewilders him.
Yeah, that's a better elevator pitch than I had. Yeah.
That's all right. Okay. God dang.
It's just got a classic. I keep going back to Nickelodeon because that's what it makes me feel when I see Hatch. It makes me feel like I'm in elementary school. I'm pretending to be sick just so I can skip school on a rainy day and watch Nickelodeon for the first 4 hours of my morning. You know?
Double dare.
Yeah, because back then you didn't have the Cartoon Network, and
right.
Nickelodeon was like the spot for a while.
Exactly. Was it I like the what's it called? I guess it was the Mayan Challenge or something like that. It was an obstacle course.
Yes. Yes.
I always like those. And then those were or Ninja Warrior.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Like that. Yeah. So I gotta find a way. I really don't want to spend the time to go to a theater, but I gotta find a way to see Sonic 3 because I've been hearing great things about it. The way they've been doing those Sonic movies, like he throws out like MCU puns, like he's Deadpool, and considering like the first Sonic, he basically went Super Saiyan, and then the second Sonic, he got the Infinity Stones. So, by the third movie with Keanu Reeves on top of that, I have no idea where that freaking series will go.
Is Sonic owned by Marvel?
No, it's Sega.
Oh wow.
And the movies are Paramount. So here's the irony behind that. Paramount distributed or produced Transformers, the Michael Bay Transformers, which had some scenes taken from it in the bless you. Some scenes taken from that to be in some of the Avengers films. And that was Paramount as well. At least the first Avengers movie, and then by the second one, I think Disney had taken over. So there's some kind of underlying tones that Paramount can, like utilize. Hey, this was in, we did the previous movies or series or whatever, so you can at least make a reference to it.
I guess I'm still in that mode of like these companies don't get along. You know? And I gotta, like, nowadays they somewhat tolerate each other because of the interweavings of the universe and crap. And
right
back in the day, you couldn't. Once they latched onto something, they wouldn't let anything go.
Right. And I think they had to come to, some of them at least had to come to realize that freaking the characters, they're only going to make but so much money if they keep saying, hey, well, we got our characters over here on this island, and the other companies say we got our characters over here on that island, and we're just not going to work together, but they're realizing they're going to make more money when they have those huge crossover events.
Yes.
And ironically, it was started by a leak from email leak from Sony.
Really?
Yep. Because the PlayStation Network, their data got hacked, and then the emails got leaked. What's her name? Amy Pascal.
Is this the whole North Korea story where Kim Jong-un threatened to? Is this part of the email leaks from this?
It might have been, because it was about around the time of the interview, right? That movie.
Yes.
Because that's what pissed him off. Yeah.
And supposedly North Korea hacked the studio and released a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because Sony, they didn't know where to go after Amazing Spider-Man 2. It bombed. And that conversation was mentioned in the email link. So that's when they were kind of like, we got to figure something out, something to do. Is there any way, without embarrassing ourselves, is there any way we could work together, Marvel, and kind of share characters to help boost our sales and stuff? And then they agreed, and then you had Amy Pascal start talking about, well, we're going to do villain standalone movies without Spider-Man. Oh man, that was a trip.
And they are kind of doing that now. We got Craven coming out.
Yeah, I heard Craven bombed. But
is it out?
Yeah, it's already out. They said it made less money than Morbius. Which I don't understand how, because Jonathan Aaron Taylor Johnson, he looked like a decent Craven. You know, some of the cutscenes I thought were pretty cool.
Right. Well, maybe it just goes to show that you do need the fans to show up for this movie to push the initial drive of it.
Right.
You piss off the fans, and they're just not going to show up.
Right. Like you can't take every Spider-Man Rogues Gallery villain and give them their own individual movie. What worked for Venom was the fact that he had his own comic book and he did turn into a good guy. Not every villain turns into a good guy or an anti-hero, at least.
Right.
Yeah, that's what ticked me off about the freaking What If season 1, where T'Challa became Star-Lord, and when Thanos came to conquer, T'Challa had a talk with Thanos and had him reallocate resources throughout the galaxy. And Thanos was like, all right, well, since that's been solved, I'll be a bartender. I was like, what? Man, I'm out of here. I was so pissed.
So I thought the overall goal was to kill everybody to impress Death, because he was in love with Death.
Exactly.
So, so you're just telling me the overall goal was just to kill people, and once I've killed people, I'll just become a bartender.
Yeah, it was terrible.
That does not make any sense whatsoever.
Well, in that one, he didn't even kill anyone, because the alternate reality, T'Challa had a conversation with him and said, hey, instead of killing half the universe, we can move some resources to another planet or another galaxy somewhere, and that'll make everything okay. And I was like, I'm done. He cheered him. He tapped glasses with T'Challa, a martini glass. I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not doing this.
This was pretty early on in the What If series, then, you're saying?
Yeah, it was season 1. I was like, I ain't doing this.
That's too bad.
You know,
I can't recall ever really being upset with the comic book What Ifs.
No.
You know?
Because you knew what they were, which was fine.
Yeah. That just seems. The only time you would be upset is if, as a for instance, what if Professor X became the Juggernaut? You know?
Yeah, it's like, huh?
It was a good book. It was drawn by Jim Lee.
Right.
So, if you just get to the point where, like, okay, well, in that book, I can't recall the story, but I'm just making something up here. If Professor X killed somebody while he was Juggernaut, then you would be upset. You'd be like, oh man, I can't believe they got Professor X to kill somebody. So that's totally out of character of him.
Right.
This one just seems like lazy. Like, you made him into a bartender. Like, really? Like,
what was it? I think he was bartending in Nowhere. The floating celestial head.
Right.
I was like, man. But that's the same season where they introduced, Peggy Carter as Captain Britain, I guess. She got the super soldier serum, and Steve Rogers became a Winter Soldier, Iron Man hybrid, agent of Hydra. It's weird. What's going on, Christian Zaffo?
Zaff, what's up? You've done a draw stream with us, right?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the Sunday one, and then I did another one with you guys before I had to go to work. Yeah.
Zapp shows up on the Sundays for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. He's got a book, Addicts, on my comic.
Okay. Yeah, check that out.
We played that. Man, I love his video he's got for the comic book. It's got this awesome bass line in it. Every time I hear that thing, I just like.
Nice.
There's some good intros.
Yeah, definitely. For like the trailer to like comics, I think that helps out a lot, and it paints a picture that this could not only just be something you read in your hands, it also contributes to the imagination of the world with the music.
Yeah. Yep.
So I find like when I read comic books, which isn't often, unfortunately, but when I do, I'm cutting on my film score channel on Pandora. I got Lord of the Rings playing, or the Captain America Winter Soldier soundtrack playing while I'm reading it, and let me just say, it's a hell of a drug.
Yeah. Come with the soundtrack. The Pops interviewed somebody on Monday Madness. It was they did a graphic novel with a soundtrack to it. So as you read it, every single word in there was the lyrics to the song.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Was it Odin Dasker? I think he did one called "Kill 'Em Dead."
I think so.
Him and
there's Odin. Yes, I know that one, but that one wasn't this one. It was called Box of Mixtapes.
Okay, yeah, I heard of that one.
Yeah.
Talk about going back in time.
Yeah. That one, something happens to the kid's parents, and he discovers a box of mixtapes, and as he goes back and listens to his parents, his dad's, mixtapes he gives to his wife or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a way for him to discover his parents.
Wow.
Through music.
Nice.
I want to say that. Go ahead.
See, that's pretty creative.
Yeah, I think they on that campaign, I want to say they funded, if I remember right, and they were doing, even though it was a box of mixtapes, they were pressing records for it. So
really?
Yeah, so you got the comic book with the record, I think is what it was.
Damn. That's a whole collection right there. Now, one of the things I've been hearing is that how can I say this? Is that if a book is popular, print on demand might hurt it because you got so many copies of it. I don't know if that's true or not, or if that's like kind of like the market, the comic book market, how it works. The less you have, the more valuable it is, especially if people like it.
Right. I think some of the guys that are more on the collector side of it, maybe a little put off by it because you don't know the exact numbers of your collectible.
Yeah.
But I get it. I know why people do it. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I figured that'd be more books in people's hands that way.
Yeah.
And I have done a digital version of my comic before. But I get it. Piracy's a thing. That's always gonna be around.
We're gonna offer a digital. Yeah, there's Addicts right there. Addicts Unbound Fury #1 from my comic.
Nice.
Yep. Christian did some schooling, and one of his teachers was Walt Simonson.
Really?
Yes, he had I guess like final or whatever. Walt Simonson will bring you over to the house as a group, his class or whatever, have a barbecue or whatever. He tells the story better. And and Walt Simonson will sit down with you one-on-one and go over your portfolio or whatever as the last thing for class.
Nice.
So,
That's like a family friendly setting. You
yeah,
know, get to know people and then say, all right, let's take a look at what you got. He, I imagine he walks up and turns the chair backwards and says, "So, you got some artwork to show," like Captain America.
yeah, yep,
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. You know, often read in a lot of books like that's what you would have to do in order to get traditional notoriety from the industry. Go to conventions, show your work to like editors, and then keep coming back and improving, and then you kind of like gain their attention
yeah,
if your stuff's good.
yep. My regular guy was Bob Shrek.
Bob
He-
Shrek.
Yeah, me and Bob Shrek got to the point where I didn't. The last two times I talked to Bob, I didn't even show him my portfolio. I just handed him my card.
Nice.
So
Oh shoot! You know what? Am I rolling over anybody's time on the Madness Network? Because I know we've been going about 2 hours, and it's 11 a.m. here.
yeah, I'll check real quick.
Okay. I don't want to get admonished. I just not thought about that.
Friday streams, the Strictly Art with Rob at 9 a.m. And then at noon we have What's Your Issue?
Okay.
That would be 9 o'clock my time, right? Yeah.
Mm.
So we got another hour, I think. Not that we have to go an hour. We can stop anytime you want, man. I'm just in here to support you.
Hey, I appreciate it. I honestly have to. It's like a muscle. I gotta build it slowly, you
Right.
know.
Hey,
But
I just seen something in the comments down here. Zaf, I can't fix my Facebook. They nuked me. Okay, I was there for 1 week with just my name and my new email address, and they nuked my account in 1 week. So
Facebook.
I'm never going back to Facebook again. They kicked me out in 2020.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm still on a list. Don't know why, but yeah, they nuked my account.
Dang.
So
I got
Sorry, Zap.
Dang. Yeah, I got 86 on Facebook. January 6th. I wasn't there, but I was like having conversations with people, and I put Angela Stanton up with Blacks for Trump, and that was a wrap. I put it as my cover photo. They were like, nope.
Yeah.
They were like, you're suspended. You can come back in 30 days. I was like, you know what, Facebook? Nah, I'm not coming back.
Nope.
You know, I mean, I have one now, but like, I can't give them much credence. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm a very opinionated person, and back on my Facebook days, I didn't mind sharing my opinion.
Right.
So I figured that we're Americans. We got
Right.
free speech. I'm a free speech absolutist. I want to hear what the other side has to say.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like,
I may freckle and frown at some of the stuff I hear, but it's like, all right, well, that's their perspective too. You know.
yeah, you got a right to say it. And I kind of like. I go to Glenn Beck said it one time where he was talking about. I forget. I think one of his kids was handicapped or something like this, right? He's all like, no. I want what they use the word, for lack of a better term, retard. Let's just say, right? If they use the word retard, I want to hear them say retard, because then I know who you are as a person.
Right.
You know, so I'm not going to say you can't say retard.
Yeah.
Say it. So it just shows me who you are.
Yep. It's a simple thing that goes back to sticks and stones may break my bones, but words never hurt me.
Yeah.
You know, so it's simple stuff, you know. Christian said, "Okay, I'll set something up on X maybe."
Thank you. And I didn't come back to X until August of 23. I had because so Elon had purchased it, and my big complaint is like I wasn't going back to X until they let Alex Jones back on.
Right.
Not that I'm a huge Alex Jones fan.
Yeah.
People shouldn't be banned for saying stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I was like, the minute you let Alex Jones back on, I'll come back on. But I came back early. I'm like, I got a feeling they're going to let Alex Jones back on.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah, that was a win. Cause I remember when they took him down because he was highlighting Peter Strott's testimony about the stuff he said in his text messages.
Right.
With other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. But yeah, it's interesting times, man. Interesting times.
Hey, with your day job,
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people are afraid to say stuff online because they're in the military and they don't want to be messed with.
Yeah.
Do they monitor at all, or?
Oh yeah, but I mean, I normally keep stuff pretty vague. I can speak muzzle velocities, so to speak.
Right.
But I mean, stuff like that. I mean, nobody's gonna be like, "Hey, we saw you said this. You're not allowed to say it." I'm not saying nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I just remember the big freak out that happened in January of 2020. Where they went. And they were like, "Hey, if you have the Punisher symbol, if you have this or that, or
some of that is gradually changing because the new administration is coming in. So things that weren't okay before are okay now."
Yeah, I was like, "Man, if you can't, these guys are going to potentially die for us. And you're not allowing them to speak what they want to say." Like, the whole concept of allowing an 18-year-old to smoke,
right?
You're kind of like, you let him go to war, but you won't let him smoke until he's 21. I mean, what's your like?
Right.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah. There are some, like when I work with some active duty, we'll have conversations. They're conservative and everything's smooth.
Right.
Smooth, no big deal, no stressor. But there are some they know they can't talk to. So I guess that's kind of anywhere, everywhere. So
right. I've had jobs like that where they've come in and they said no religion, no politics,
right,
and no wages. Like those are the three things you can't talk about here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's better they acknowledge that up front because I get it working for a company and all that, as opposed to you have one conversation with someone and they go, "Huh, interesting." Next thing you know, your boss is like riding the shit out of you. It's like, where's this coming from?
Yeah.
I've dealt with some of that underhandedness. But yeah, let me go ahead and call it, man, because it's I'm getting lit up. I gotta take a break, and I definitely gotta go eat.
You're probably heading off to bed, right?
No, I'm gonna be drawing. I'm gonna try to stay up for at least about 4 or 5 more hours.
Okay.
Yeah, that way I get the most out of the day.
Got you.
So yeah, since y'all have more shows, I should be in the chat, tuning in.
Cool.
That way. What am I missing? Oh, okay. Here we go.
Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anytime. Like I said, I just gotta get used to sending those links, which is why, like, when you send them and stuff, it's like, okay, now I'm getting into the routine of collaboration and sharing stuff and putting it out there.
Right.
So
I
yeah,
like that, man.
Huh?
I said I'm staring at your page here. I like that page.
Thanks. Yeah, it's just kind of like I said, introduction. So I got to ink up the nature, and now I get to add the line weights when I come back after eating, and panel by panel, you know, panel by panel. I got some other characters I was working on. I'm not ready to show them yet, but they'll be fun, you know, when they do pop up.
Very cool.
So yeah, that's it. Number 50. I mean, I'm happy, you know, with all the stuff we got a chance to cover, and like I said, thanks for coming on, Levi. You and Pops been a great help, and you always got my support, you know, where you guys are at. So the Madness Comic Network.
We're here to help.
Yeah, you know, likewise. So Glenn Fleming, enjoyed those shaken, not stirred martinis. Christian Zaffo. Yeah, I'll be looking out for you guys too and seeing the work that you do, and you know, showing my support as well. So y'all take care. I ain't got too much else to say, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the outros. All right.
All right. Take it easy, man.
All right.
We'll
Take
talk
care.
later.
Oh yeah, and y'all have a happy New Year, because
Yes, happy New
next
Year.
show will be after then. So, all right. He's up.
Later.
Oh, President-elect Garrett Walker. Do I like him? No. Do I believe in him? That's beside the point. Any politician that gets 70 million votes has tapped into something larger than himself, larger than even me, as much as I hate to admit it. Look at that winning smile, those trusting eyes. I latched onto him early on and made myself vital. After 22 years in Congress, I can smell which way the wind is blowing. Oh, Jim Matthews, his right honorable vice president, former governor of Pennsylvania. He did his duty in delivering the Keystone State, bless his heart, and now they're about to put him out to pasture. But he looks happy enough, doesn't he? For some, it's simply the size of the chair. Linda Vasquez, Walker's chief of staff. I got her hired. She's a woman, check, and a Latina, check, but more important than that, she's as tough as a $2 steak. Check, check, check. When it comes to the White House, you not only need the keys in your back pocket, you need the gatekeeper. As for me, I'm just the lowly House Majority Whip. I keep things moving in a Congress choked by pettiness and lassitude. My job is to clear the pipes and keep the sludge moving. But I won't have to be a plumber much longer. I've done my time. I've backed the right man. Give and take.